We are reading the story, and it is titled Abraham's Obedience Tested. This is Genesis chapter 22, verse 1 through 24. So we're gonna be here for a little while, okay? But it's gonna be a good one. So this reads, sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied. Here I am. God's instructions. Take your son, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will show you. The next morning, Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey and took 2 of his servants with him along with his son Isaac. Then he chopped wood for a fire for a burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day of their journey, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham told his servants. The boy and I will travel a little farther. We will worship there, and then we will come right back. My pages are sticking together. Okay. So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them walked on together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father. Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have the fire and the wood, the boy said, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering? God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son, Abraham answered. And they both walked on together. When they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham! Yes, Abraham replied, here I am. Don't lay a hand on the boy, the angel said. Don't hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear the Lord. You have not withheld from me even your son, your only son. Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yireh. Sorry if I mispronounced it, but that means God, the Lord, will provide. To this day, people still use that name as a proverb. On the mount of the Lord, it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven. This is what the Lord says, because you obeyed me and have not withheld even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond numbers, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies, and through your descendants all nations of the earth will be blessed because you obeyed me. Then they returned to the servants and traveled back to Beersheba, where Abraham continued to live. Soon after this, Abraham heard that Milcah, his brother, Nahor's wife, had borne Nahor's 8 sons. The oldest son name was Uz. The next oldest son was Buz. Sorry if I mispronounced these names. These names are hard to pronounce. If you read the Bible, then you know. So the next oldest was Buz, followed by Kemuel, Kesed, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethel. In addition to these 8 sons from Milcah, Nahor had 4 other children from this combined Reumah. Their names were Teba, Jaham, Tahash, and Makkah. Okay, so immediately when I read this yesterday, and I actually had a conversation with my boyfriend, and I was just like, We're going to get into that. But when I read this, I immediately thanked Abraham. Because I had to thank him. Because you know what? This verse that says, and this is Genesis chapter 22, verse 18, and through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed because you obeyed me. All the nations of the earth will be blessed because Abraham obeyed him. I had to say thank you, because no matter what, I am truly blessed. No matter what, you are truly blessed. The conversation I had with my boyfriend, and what this whole story made me realize, I'm not obedient enough. And a lot of people aren't. How many people do you know would even get close to even traveling to the mountain with their son, knowing what they were going to do when they got to that mountain? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be transparent. Right now, today, I wouldn't. I would be terrified. I'm going to be honest. I would be completely terrified. Because Abraham did not know that God was going to stop him. Abraham did not know that. He willingly followed God's orders and trusted that him telling him to sacrifice his son was just for the better good, the better judgment, whatever you want to call it. He truly trusted him. He didn't have no doubt in his mind. Immediately the next morning, early morning, he packed up what he needed to pack up, and he went on his merry way to go do what God told him to do. I want to trust God like that. We need to trust God like that. That is what it means to truly fear the Lord. And it made me realize, like, wow, I have a lot of growing to do. Because what? That's big. That's big. Your only son, the only son that you love so much. That's like telling me, if God told me, this is just an example. If God told me to tie up my dad and do this and this and that to him, do you know how afraid I low-key would be? Or how afraid a lot of us will be. We and I, when I speak, I'm speaking for myself too. We truly have to trust God with our eyes closed. Because one thing I have learned, and I'm still learning, everything is literally a test of faith. It might not be this severe of you having to sacrifice your son, but how many times have God told you to go somewhere to do something, and just in the nick of time, it worked out in your favor, or it just didn't happen anymore? Test. And thankfully, if you've had that testimony, you've passed. You know, hands clap to you. Good job to you. You feared the Lord in that moment. But it's also moments where things get serious, just like it got serious for Abraham, and we are questioning, we're scratching our head, we're like, oh, I'm not sure, God, did you really tell me to do that? I'm not sure, I don't know how this is gonna go, I don't know how this is gonna go, I can't do this. And in those moments, we have failed. I'm gonna pray that for myself, for my family, and for people that I do not know, for strangers, that we all develop this type of fear for the Lord that Abraham has. I pray that we all trust where God is guiding us. Seriously, because if Abraham did not listen and he failed this test, we that are here now in 2025 will not be blessed. It literally says, I will multiply your descendants, which is us, beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer cities of their enemies. And through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed, all because you obeyed me. That made me also realize, that just came to me now. If I obey God for me, my family can also be blessed through me because I did what I was supposed to do. I'm pregnant. My son will be blessed through me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm obeying God. I'm not 100% there yet, but I know where I need to get to, and I'm working on it. This is all a work in progress for all of us. But this is what I want. I want God to use me, and I want God to use you for people in generations and for your family tree to be blessed and for more people to come. For real, because Abraham still trusted him, man. And I really had to say thank you. Because if he would have not obeyed God, this is not the first time he has obeyed God. Abraham has been obeying God since he was out the womb. Abraham is a champ for real. Thank you, Abraham. Like, for real. Because if he didn't obey God along with other people, I don't even know if I would be here to this day. I don't even know if you would be here. So with that being said, obey God even when it looks like you don't know what he's doing or what he told you does not make sense. I promise you it's just a test. And 9 times out of 10, God's going to tell you to probably stop if it's this bad as sacrificing your son. And if he doesn't, still believe him. That's a hard pill to swallow. But we have to trust God with our eyes closed, with our hands tied, with our mouths sealed. We have to trust God with all that we have and trust that where he is leading us is all for the greater good. I don't know where we or I would be if Abraham did not follow these instructions. I don't know where I would be or where we would be, y'all. Like, seriously. And that made me realize the work that I have to do. I'm not gonna come on here and make it seem like I'm just this holy person. No, I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to figure out and get right. That's why I'm in this word right now. But a lot of people don't even know that this type of obedience is what it even takes to fear the Lord. Because I didn't know it was this deep. You know, I didn't know you had to fear the Lord like this to be considered obedient. Like, you have to fear the Lord many ways, but like this Abraham is crazy if you ask me, but he's not. He's not crazy. He's doing exactly what he is supposed to do, which is trusting God and fearing the Lord. So I pray that we all develop this type of fear in the Lord as we are all on our journeys. I pray that for my family, strangers, and for myself. Y'all have a good night. And if you guys want to read this for yourself and have your own interpretation of it for yourselves, again, this is the story Abraham's Obedience Tested, chapter 22, Genesis chapter 22. This is 1 through 24. That's that whole part that I just read here with you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and have a great day. Okay, remember to pray and take little steps into obeying God. Little steps goes a long way. Okay, if you're gentle with God, he will be gentle with you. If you love God, he will love you. If you obey God, he will obey your wishes. Okay? Have a good night, everybody.